Hello, word nerds! Happy Sunday. Welcome to our live chat where we talk about all things bookish. This week is going to be especially bookish since our topic is the publishing industry. We'll cover some of the bigger news things that have happened over the past few weeks or months or whatever really comes up. And of course, if you guys have any questions about the publishing industry in general, let us know in the comments and we will absolutely discuss all of that kind of stuff. And in some more exciting news, stick around because at 8:30 or the next 30, depending on where you are in the world, we have a pretty big announcement that we think you guys are going to want to hear. So stick around for that. And of course, if you can't stick around for that, this video will be live tomorrow on our channel. It's here forever. So skip ahead to the hour. We're all good.
And there will be more information tomorrow.
You're really going to like it. Yeah, there's going to be more information in a very specific video tomorrow. So there's going to be lots and lots of exciting stuff coming in.
So many nerves.
So yeah, there's been a lot of things popping up in the publishing industry lately of just kind of like unexpected news, some of it kind of awesome, like our first topic, which is that Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which is going to be a play in the UK, is being published as kind of like a script book. So any initial feelings on that besides yay?
Yes.
Mostly fangirl flailing. Yeah, I figured they would do it. Like I wasn't surprised. Like I was excited, but I wasn't surprised.
Mm-hmm. Kind of nice too that we got an announcement like within the same year, really, that we're going to get the book, which doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's only a few months
They're very
away.
specific. It's not a book.
Yeah. It's only 4 months, a little over 4 months away. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wish we'd known ahead of time. Cause I feel like for a book club, that would have been a pretty good topic.
Yeah.
Because it's a script in book format, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're publishing. So they're going to be publishing the script for, because like they'll be doing like the preview stage where they're like doing early showings of it to kind of work out the kinks, and they're going to publish that script, and then later they're going to publish like the finalized script for the like. So there will actually be two different things that will be published. So it'll be like two different editions will be slightly different.
Well, I think I'd want the final one.
Yeah.
I'd want to wait a little bit to get the. No, I have the real story.
But you'll get the full before the final one comes out. So.
I'm really excited too because my local indie bookstore is having a release party.
Oh,
It's gonna be
exciting.
really nostalgic, and my husband didn't read the Harry Potter books until they were all out and all the movies were out, and so he never got to experience like a release party, and I'm really excited to take him to that. So
You're welcome.
yes,
I told him about it.
Now I'm totally looking at Cursed Child release parties.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that like there's been no official announcements, but the rumor is that like Barnes and Noble and Books A Million and I'm sure like Chapters are all gonna do parties. Like they're not gonna miss out on the money they can make off these parties. So
yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So exciting.
And of course, there was also the additional non-bookish Harry Potter news that Fantastic Beasts is getting a couple of sequels. So there's a whole lot of Harry Potter going on.
I'm actually maybe more excited about that than the script book. Because I'm like,
I think I am too.
I'm excited about the script book because it's more Harry Potter, basically. But an actual movie is like even more magical and exciting to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm more like excited for Fantastic Beasts and like interested in the Cursed Child. Like, I'm just interested to see what happens in it and like why it's been done. Because she's talked before about how like once you like see or read it, you'll like understand why the play format was the best format. So like I'm interested.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like I'll probably disagree with that. Like I don't know. I wish it was a book. I want to go like, into that world. And reading something that's supposed to be visual, you're gonna miss out on something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's why I'm not as like. If it was an actual book being released in 4 months or something, I would just be like bouncing off the walls. But as it is, I'm excited. But I'm even more excited for the movie in November. I'm already like telling my friends, like, just so you know, we're going to see Fantastic find them as a group. Like, just so you all know. FYI. Very exciting. Do you guys think you'll go see an actual play version of The Cursed Child, or?
If it ever comes to North America.
Forward. Whoa. Any time in the foreseeable future to go to the UK. So.
Well, I would think it would be across different places, right?
Oh yeah, like currently it's only scheduled for UK, but I'm sure that other places will produce it eventually. Yeah. Yeah, it's like I can't even save up enough money to go to New York to see Hamilton. I can't go to the UK to see The Cursed Child.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
At this point, it is nice that, like, despite the actual 7-book series being long over, we're getting no shortage of new stuff, which is something that I never actually expected to get. So I'll just be grateful for all of it.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I never expected her to actually write anything else. And another movie in the actual universe, like in the actual world, is this is good.
And like
I love Eddie Redmayne. So I'm just really, really excited to see him in the Potter world.
It looks so good. I have rewatched that preview like a cajillion times. Yes. A number that does not even exist. So I have to make up a number. Yeah, I've watched it.
The limit does not exist.
Yeah. And it's such a tiny glimpse of it, too. Like, I know they'll release it as it comes closer, but I'm just, like, so amazed.
And it just
Although
looks like
I'd kind of rather not. I was just going to say I'd rather not see too much of it in trailer form before it happens. I'd rather just see
not yet.
Yeah, like I loved how much we saw of Star Wars before it came out. Like it was so little that we really didn't know what to expect, and I kind of
it's almost it makes it more exciting. But I also like the way Star Wars, like, they dropped one trailer and then everyone was super excited, and it was a while, and then and it was like just a real tiny little teaser. Yeah, almost like this one is for Fantastic Beasts. So I think they'll like drop a couple more little like hinty, teasy trailers, and then you'll just be like, excited.
Yeah, so. I think the important thing is like keeping the glimpses that you get in the trailer out of context.
Yeah.
I think that's what Star Wars did well, is we saw little glimpses, and some of them turned out to be parts of important scenes, but like it was so out of context, and there was like no narration telling you what was going on or anything. But some trailers, like, they put it so like linearly and like in context. And you're like, great, I know the whole movie before I can see it. What was the point of this?
That's true, or they show you all of the big exciting parts.
And I'd be so devastated if that happened with this. I don't want to know what it's about. I just want to see it.
Yeah. I don't mind knowing like the gift, like sort of the main point of what it's about, but I don't want to know details, and I don't want to know what like the climax is. So many of the times I feel like previews are like, then this big crazy thing happens, explosions, blah, and I'm like, but that's the climax.
And here's all the funniest jokes.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, all the funniest parts. Like, I saw all of them in the 52 trailers you released. What was the point of seeing it?
And it just looks like the cinematography is going to be so beautiful. Like all the colors that were in it.
Oh my gosh. What is it that he's like obviously hunting fantastic beasts, but it's like he shows but he shows up at like Parliament or something, or like
he's in New York.
But there's a wizarding government he goes to.
It's like the Magical Congress.
Which I love that idea.
Got out.
Yeah, so he has a briefcase. He's already caught these creatures, and they're in his briefcase, and some of them somehow get out, and he has to go get them again. Yeah.
But I love the idea that he's like staying in a hotel for like magical politicians, basically. What it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. To me, I'm like, it's going to be kind of like hints of like the Ministry of Magic, I bet. Like that really cool magical setting. I'm just like, I'm so excited. Overly flappy about this.
And like the glimpse we've had of like the president, that like she has like this cool like headdress thing on, and she looks really awesome. And
I didn't see that. Is there 2 trailers or just one?
There's 2 trailers. It's just a really it doesn't really say she's the president. You just kind of like assume it. But like when the girl is like talking about like this wizard from Britain came and his creatures got out, and there's like she's a black woman and she has a big headdress on. Everyone's just
right. Yes.
Like the magical president, or like the leader of the Congress, or something like that.
Oh, so exciting.
It is 1920s New York, which is really cool.
That's very cool. It's already kind of a cool time setting, so the outfits and stuff.
Well, I guess that is it on the Harry Potter topic, so we'll move on to some of the other big news. The big one this week was not something we can actually discuss, just that Louise Renison died, which is a bummer. If you don't know, she wrote the Angus Thonks and Full Frontal Snogging books. I think there's like 10 in that series. Like, it was a pretty long-running, successful series. And she died fairly young, I think, so it was definitely unexpected.
Harper Lee also died, right?
Yeah.
A while ago. Yeah,
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, that's sad. We're losing some big authors here.
Seems to have been the year for just surprise.
Celebrity deaths in general. Sad. I know it was a while ago, but Terry Pratchett was devastating to my heart. It was quite a while ago, but...
Oh yeah, Madeline L'Engle she died not too long ago too.
What?
Oh, what?
She died?
Madeline L'Engle died. I remember because I saw it, and my boss is a huge Madeline L'Engle fan, and so when I told her, she was like, "What?
No!"
Yeah.
That was some of my first fantasy books when I was
Yeah, I love
that
Madeline
was like
L'Engle
my
so
first
much.
big fantasy
A Wrinkle in
series.
Time. And it was just like such a, I don't know if it was A Wrinkle in Time or something else, but it felt like it wrinkled my brain. I
Yeah.
was like, there's so many
and
different elements to it.
That's some cool publishing sort of news. Is they're making another adaptation of A Wrinkle in Time?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and
Oh, I didn't know
Ava
that either.
DuVernay is going to be directing it.
Yeah.
Ooh, that'll be cool. I never saw the original movie of that.
I liked it. I know it wasn't very
Okay.
successful, and they never made more of them, but I really enjoyed it. I was like 12 when I saw it, so it might not have been good, but...
The new version will probably be good. There's actually quite a few really big, like Red Queen's being made into a movie, and then the other series, one of the books that we have on our book reading list, the Angel Fall one, that's being made into a movie as well.
Shadow was optioned for TV series.
Okay. Because I was gonna say, didn't that fail? But I think that was the selection. And that was
Yeah, the selection.
And Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children comes out in September, I think.
Yeah,
I saw the pictures for that.
Saw pictures. Yeah.
Looks
It looks
so good.
Is Eva Green Miss Peregrine, or is it someone else?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, okay, I have to look it up now because she's one of my favorite actresses. She was the evil queen or the evil general in the second 300 movie, and she did such a good job. Let's see.
I think that, isn't it like A Court of Thorns and Roses has been optioned for film and Throne of Glass for TV or something like that? I feel like they both have been optioned, but for different things. Yeah.
I'm only seeing the shadowy stuff.
Yes. It's Eva Green is playing Miss Peregrine.
She looks so good.
Such a good actress. It's amazing. She just plays she does a really good job at playing kind of half creepy but really mystical kind of interesting female characters. She's just really, really good at that sort of mysterious dame type. What else was she in? She's in a lot of more adult movies, not young adult. She's usually the creepy / sexy temptress type lady. Not so much in this movie.
Yeah. I could see in her free time Miss Peregrine being that type of person.
The double life of Miss Peregrine.
Yeah.
There's a good lineup of actors. Ooh.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
I still need to read that book.
Ooh,
I've only read the
Terrence
first
Stamp.
one.
Yeah,
I read the first one.
I think I have the first two, and I just haven't read them.
It's funny because I read the first one, and I actually read it cover to cover, and I really liked it. And then about halfway through the second book, I just didn't finish it. Cause
I had a really hard time getting started with the second one.
I felt like the first book was kind of, this sounds weird, but I felt like the first book was really organically part of, the pictures were really organically part of the book, of the story. And then for the second one, it almost felt like the pictures were in place first, and then he wrote the story to go around the pictures. And I was like, this is not convincing me. It's not pulling me in anymore. So, but I think the movie's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, Tim Burton. I trust him.
Oh my gosh. Love that
and
man.
I saw one of the pictures they released was the main boy, and he's holding the girl who's attached to the string, the girl who floats, and it just looks so beautiful.
It's going to be so good. There's a lot of big actors in this, so a lot of really good people. I really like Terrence Stamp. He just plays every bad guy ever. Such an evil-looking guy. It's gonna be good. Well,
Anything else on the movie news topic? For future reference, the Reddit subreddit YA writers is really, really interesting. It has just a solid feed of stuff in the YA world. And Beth Revis is actually really active over there. She's one of the admins.
That's awesome. Gotta check it out more often. I try to Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no.
No, I was just saying, before this chat, I was trying to look on. I follow Publishers Marketplace. They're pretty good for news, although not as interesting news. Kind of not as gossipy as I might like sometimes. But they're just mostly ebook sales are declining, and these are statistics for these things, and so on and so forth. But it'd be good to have a thumb on the pulse of the YA publishing a little bit more. So maybe I'll check the Reddit out.
And then the topic that kind of got us started on this topic was the announcement that Cassandra Clare is being sued by, I can't say her name.
Sherilyn Kenyon.
Claiming that Cassandra Clare had kind of ripped off elements from that series into her Shadowhunter series. And yeah, we had some opinions on this before.
I just don't think any of her, at first when I read it, I was like, okay, I'll be interested to see because, Cassandra Clare has had people, she has a lot of haters. And she has a lot of people that are like, oh, she's plagiarized before and blah, blah, blah. And with her fan fiction, though, which I'm very much it's not that I don't see the problem, but I also don't see the problem that is as big as people are making it out to be.
Not making money off of it in fan fiction.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not like she took line for line people's works and then published them and made money off of them. That would be truly terrible. She didn't do that, right? She put it in fan fiction where maybe she should have disclosed that this is word for word from this person's work, and she said it was a game that people could pick out what passages are from what, which is
like Easter eggs.
Yeah, which is that's a fangirl thing to do, and so I don't think it's really fair to turn around and say she obviously plagiarized, this from this actually published author and published it and made money off of it, because that is a huge damaging claim.
Yeah.
And if you look at what's the other author's name?
Sherilyn
Kenyon. And I know she's not big in our world, but Googling her, she's a #1 New York Times bestseller. It's not someone small just looking for attention. So I'm curious where this genuinely came from.
So she obviously actually
being all
Yeah.
It feels like
she must. Go ahead.
I feel like Cassandra Clare is an easy target, kind of like you were talking about. It's just oh yeah, she plagiarized me, because everyone keeps accusing her of plagiarizing them. So I'll say she plagiarized me too. I don't know. It just feels like it's an easy person to claim.
I really don't think that. I think that this author actually thinks that Cassandra Clare plagiarized her, but I think she's wrong. I don't think that she woke up one morning and was like, I'm gonna sue Cassandra Clare for funsies and to get attention, because she clearly doesn't need attention or money or whatever, right? So I really think that she thinks this, but I don't think any of what we're seeing of her claims are enough.
Yeah. When you read the claims, it all sounds ridiculous. It's the kind of stuff that I've read a ton of books that have those characteristics in them. You're not the only person who's ever written that,
It's I go on Publishers Marketplace, and sadly, frequently, I see oh, this book sold that sounds a lot like my book.
Exactly like
my book. I did not plagiarize that book. It's just really unfortunate.
I've done that so many times. Well, even on Wattpad, I've written something, and I actually ended up, because so many people have said to me oh, did you get inspired by this book? Or, oh, this is so much like this book, consistently over and over. Then I'm well, maybe I should just read this book because I keep hearing about it. I didn't copy it because I haven't even heard of it until these people kept coming, and saying oh, was this your inspiration? It happens all the time.
Well, even people claiming that you're taking Loki from the Marvel movies and stuff, not that it's an ancient religion that's been around forever.
It's saying
actually Marvel stole from Aaron.
Yeah, clearly. And Disney stole
sue Marvel.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sue Marvel, and then I'm gonna sue Disney for making Frozen after.
Yeah.
Clearly, they read my mind and took all my ideas.
They knew it.
Evil mind reading powers. I knew they're all witches over there. See, like, it's annoying when that stuff happens, but I'm like, okay, they took a Norse, you know, mythological story about a snow queen, and like the natural progression was, oh, let's call it Frozen, and I'm like, crap. But I'm not gonna be like, Disney stole my ideas, because I'm not an insane person, you know? And now I'm looking at like the things that they actually said. So there's the Dark Hunters versus Shadow Hunters.
And they're both an elite band of warriors that must protect the human world from unseen paranormal threats. So basically, every urban fantasy or paranormal ever.
Pretty much. Like, yeah. That could describe Buffy the Vampire Hunter. Or like any urban fantasy.
Slayer. I can't.
Sorry. My bad. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. See, if I made up a Buffy the Vampire Hunter series, then Joss Whedon could sue me. That would be
but those terms genuinely are interchangeable. Like, as much as like for me as a big fan, I want you to get it right, but they're exactly the same thing. So like calling them variations is just what happens in this. Like
Dark Hunter and Shadow Hunter.
Yeah, it's like the only like claim she has that's like makes sense is apparently the publisher like published an edition of the Mortal Instruments that had the symbol from Sherilyn Kenyon's novel. Like, they got them switched up.
They got them mixed up.
Symbol. So that's one thing you can, like, ask for some money
point to that
if you want to. But, like, even that is, like, did that really hurt? If anything, people might actually, like, accidentally pick up your book because they think it's Cassandra Clare's book.
And
I don't know.
You can't sue the author directly for something the publisher
it's not the author's fault.
The publisher messed that one up. Yeah. Well, and you have to wonder if like, this author had already been annoyed by the similarities and then heard that this happened in the publisher and been like, see, I'm correct. And then maybe
because I think the article I read said something like that, where she was basically like, it's so similar that even the publisher couldn't keep the two books separate. You know?
Well, yeah, there are similarities, you know, but there's so much stuff that's similar. I can, like, half the stuff on my shelf I could pair together as similar, you know, so. Like, everyone's always saying, oh, this is basically just Harry Potter. It's basically a ripoff of Harry Potter. Like, I can't even tell you how many times a day I hear that.
I will say that Harry Potter was
first, like, yeah, it's great. It's original in a lot of ways, but it's not the first wizard school. Like,
yeah, well, and Harry Potter just took elements from so many different things that honestly, it's hard not to have some of these elements in your stories and not have people be like, this is like Harry Potter. It's like if a young person is in high school and does magic, it's automatically Harry Potter, you know? So. Well, and another thing they said was, what's that?
Who was it? Autumn Cook put down in the comments a link to like a really extended thing that like details all of the similarities. So I'm going through that now.
Oh my gosh.
And some of them is like what I just posted?
Yeah, you posted that. Or I don't know, I'm just looking
at it's the same thing that I just posted in our side chat. And it is pretty extensive, but like I'm not familiar enough with either series. Like I haven't actually read that much Cassandra Clare.
Yeah, like they both have a cup, a sword, and a mirror with magical properties. Battle evil.
I just wanted to say that. Harry Potter has all of those things.
But look at that list. It's interesting.
Sword.
It is interesting. I mean, the sheer amount of similarities is probably what has this other author angry. But if they're all tropes, though. You know, like every single thing that is mentioned in this extensive breakdown is a trope. So you can't copyright a trope.
Yeah. Like it talks about the setting, which to me, they're both urban fantasies, so they both take place in cities.
But if you look at like they're not all tropes. Like some of it is like side-by-side character comparisons of like this person's cooking is mocked, this person's cooking is mocked, this person also wears tall boots and is known to be dangerous. I don't know. You have to read the list, but some of them are like it's enough to make you take notice, but I still think
I still feel like
dangerous territory.
Yeah, I still feel like I could take two similar books and do this with them. If I wanted to try to prove that one had ripped off the other, I could. It would take a lot of extensive time and reading both of the books over and over and over, but I think I can throw together something like this for like two similar urban fantasy books.
I'm really interested to read this other series now.
Yeah. Well, this other author might actually get even more sales because people being like, now I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm interested. Like, I liked Mortal Instruments, but what if she's a better writer and I like this one better?
Yeah, just like stuff like a demon glamour, a term used by both authors. Glamour is something that's used all the time. I've used it before.
Yeah.
You know, it's a magical word.
Yeah, this is interesting, man.
And then
I love seeing people getting so involved in, like, really deeply thinking about all the work. It's making me think really hard.
Fords and Mundies or Muggles.
What do they call them in American Harry Potter?
No Mages.
No Mages.
It took me a second because I was like, the American edition still call them Muggles.
I know what I'm talking about.
I really like the term no Mage. I
think it makes linguistic sense.
Yeah.
That would become a term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think people were really ridiculous when they were acting like that meant that if they were an American fan, they had to call them no Mages. And I was like, no, you don't. I refuse to call them that. I'm calling them a Muggle even though I'm American.
I know.
And I was like, do you realize you're not actually a witch or a wizard, right? Like,
I will never accept that.
It's not real. I'm sorry, guys, but it's not.
For like people, when they like announced the American Wizarding School, I saw people like well-known published authors even who were just like upset over the American Wizarding School, and they're like, I'm so upset that I have to give up my Hogwarts house. And I'm like, you don't understand.
I love it.
Well, pretend move to Britain then, if you will.
Yeah.
Problem
You
solved.
can only live there.
I actually recently realized that I was in Ireland on my 11th birthday, so I figured that'll just like justify everything for me.
Good enough.
This is like Clary's father is not a demon, so that's kind of misleading. Put that in there. Also, like has a childhood friend in love with her. Yeah.
Yeah, like some of it's so like vague of like things that happen in books.
Yeah. Like the fact that this paranormal urban fantasy also has humans, like humans.
I'm gonna write an urban fantasy with no humans.
Well, technically,
that's just called a fantasy, Megan.
No, it will be New York City, but no humans.
Wouldn't that
urban? It counts.
Yeah, it would still be urban.
I actually just read an urban fantasy anthology of just like short stories, and a couple of them weren't. Like it was still like it was a fantasy city and a very similar to an urban fantasy storyline, just not our world kind of city, which is cool.
That's cool. We've got a question.
Broadening genre horizons. Question away.
From Jody. What do you all think about author, actor, and movie bullying? I know not too many people like 50 Shades of Grey, but it does have a huge fan base. Ever since these books and the movies came out, on social media and online articles, people have said nasty and hurtful things about the actors, the movie, and the author. I thought social media and comments on articles were supposed to be screened. Like I don't like superhero movies, but I'm not going to bash the movies or actors or writers of the comics. What can we do to stop this?
That's actually something that we talked about pre-chat too, because with the Cassandra Clare thing, so many of her haters are coming out of the woodwork on Twitter being like, haha, I'm so happy that Cassandra Clare is being sued. I hope her life crumbles, is essentially what so many people on Twitter are saying. It just shows a really nasty, immature side. Even if you don't like the author or her books, just coming out on Twitter and publicly crowing that you hope her life is ruined is just really tacky.
Yeah.
It's ugly behavior. You know,
if you wouldn't say it in person, don't say it on the internet.
Especially if you are somebody who wants to be a writer someday. I mean, no, it's just not common sense. You know, it reminds me of the story of what's her name? I don't like her books, but I would never say stuff like this to her. But Rebecca Fitzpatrick, the one who does the Hush Hush series, And I don't like the Hush Hush series. I read the first one, but some of the stuff people have said to her about the series or stuff they've said on Goodreads is really cruel, like speculating about her personal life as well.
Yeah.
And she had this story on her blog a little while ago about a reader who had said some really nasty things about her on social media, and who was also an author, author hopeful. And then eventually, this girl did get her book published, and the publisher asked Becca Fitzpatrick if she would do a blurb for this person's book, and she recognized her name as the nasty Goodreads reviewer, and said that she couldn't because she didn't feel like this person respected her or her work. So why would she do her a favor, you know?
Yeah.
So I mean, So I mean, like, people remember your name. Like, I remember the guy that sent me a query twice, even though he sent me his last query 3 months ago, right? Like, people remember these things. They remember your name. So.
Especially when you've said something super mean about them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I read the Goodreads review, and it definitely was like, it was over the top, because, you know, it's one thing to dislike a book and say that you think that it has a harmful message. It's another thing to, like, pick on the author's personal life and speculate about weird, you know, I won't go into it. It was rude, but yeah. So don't do it.
Yeah. I think if you just, like, be a good human, and if, like, all of us are, like, trying to be good and not doing those things, and then if it gets, like, it's unfortunate that you can't just report all of them, but if they do get, like, borderline harassment, like abusive, then you can report them. I haven't seen any website where you can't report a comment and then the website has to look at it, and sometimes they get removed.
That's about all you can do, aside from remaining respectful yourself, and then just encouraging your fellow writers and readers to not dogpile. You know, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah, it escalates so fast.
It does.
To, like, this person saying abusive things about the book, and then these super fans get in and they're saying abusive things and stalking the person who made the bad comment, and then everyone's mad and everyone's scared.
Cassandra Clare's actually
place.
Cassandra Clare's actually been driven off of Twitter a couple times. Like, I follow her because there's always something interesting going on her Twitter account. And, you know, a couple times she's been driven off of Twitter. Like, she's, you know, there's just too much hate, or there's just too many, you know, there's fandom wars, like wars between two factions of her fandom, and they're trying to drag her into it and get her to take sides, and she just can't, right? And I also remember there was which was just a terrible idea on the publisher's part, but there was a Q&A for the 50 Shades lady. Why have I brain fart?
James.
Yes, thank you. There was a Q&A for her, and it was a garbage fire. It was.
Oh, I hated that. That was awful.
Yeah, it was awful.
It was just so rude and disrespectful. These questions and comments directed at her. It was bad. So, not good.
Yeah, make it too easy to forget that these are actually other humans on the other side of this.
Yeah. And even if you don't like the book, or even if you don't like the author, you've seen an interview and you didn't think that you would get along with them, why go attack them on social media? Don't you have something better to do with your time? You think?
Yeah. It's hard, though. I remember, like, as a kid, I liked writing and stuff, but I still had a really hard time picturing that there was a human who sat in their pajama pants for hours and hours and hours to write this book that I love.
Yeah, well, it's easy to, you know, readers get, you know, forget those things sometimes, and there does end up being a kind of an overstepping of the bounds sometimes.
It stems from, like, a passionate love for the books that you care about.
Right.
Also,
but it can go too far. Yeah.
Thanks so much to everyone who's in the comments. If you have any questions about the publishing world, it doesn't have to be just, like, news related. Feel free to ask it in the comments. If they're disabled for you, there's a link in the description to the discussion section where you can comment, and we're also keeping an eye on that. Our announcement is coming in 15 minutes, so stick around for that.
Now, what are we going to talk about for another 15 minutes?
I guess another thing I've seen a lot in like the publishing world. I think we'll all feel the same about this, but like there's been a lot of like newer young adult writers who like get interviewed and they basically just like bash the young adult.
Yes.
They're like my book subverts all other YA books and is so much. I saw this problem with YA books and I'm fixing it with the books I'm writing. There are a few people out there like that.
Yes.
And that's been a big thing, I know.
The last one I saw that was I don't want to.
Bless you.
I don't. Yes.
There's one specific writer who has done it multiple times in like every interview he does.
Is it the dude that wrote about the Jewish girl that loses all the weight and becomes like a kick-ass hero or whatever? That's the most recent one.
That's the one I've heard of the most.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I do feel like
this is a different guy, I think.
Oh,
this is the guy who his second book is about to come out, and it has like this like silver-haired girl who
yes. Yes, you sent me that article.
Yes, it's his second book.
What does he say?
He's just said a lot of stuff about how like, I don't know, he had this one article where he just like name dropped a bunch of big authors and then like talked about like how he like feels like young adult books aren't like daring enough and don't go enough into like sex and stuff. And he's like, but then some of these very famous authors, they gave me a list of books, so I guess maybe there's some stuff out there, but I don't know. I just had never seen it. It's like, what? Like, and he said lots of weird.
Because these people don't read YA.
Stuff out there, yeah. He said
it's the type of people that don't read. They read 3 books. Mm-hmm. They read Divergent, Hunger Games, and Harry Potter, and they're like, I know everything about YA. Yeah. I can do this better than everyone does.
Or they're like, I've heard about Twilight. I need to read it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And then, I hate to say this, but it always seems to be dudes.
Oh, yeah.
I do feel like dudes get hit harder in the backlash when they say it, because I'm sure they're not the only ones that have done it, but the YA community kind of hits back harder against dudes when they do it. Because I know I've seen, I could not tell you the name, but over the past couple of years, I know I've seen a couple of female writers who probably just read literature and then decided to fix YA for us.
Thank you for coming in and fixing it. I'm sure it was so broken before. Yeah.
So, like, pro tip: if you get published one day and someone interviews you, don't bash young adult books or whatever genre or age grouping you're writing in.
No.
Yeah, exactly. It very much stems from not being immersed in the YA community, because any of us know if we said half of that crap, you get stomped on. Right? Yeah. The YA community is not like, oh, thank you for coming in and fixing it. They'll be like, screw you, get out of here. Yeah. Nobody's going to read your book now. And if they had actually been in the YA community, they would have known that. So clearly...
And, like, it ends up being ignorant, because it's things like, oh, there weren't enough dark, gritty books, so I wrote a dark, gritty book. And it's like, no, there are lots. You've only read 3 young adult books.
Yeah. Exactly.
They're probably like a lot of the same people who would read like Ellen Hopkins or something and be like, "Oh, this is too dark and gritty for a YA," and it's just there's no pleasing people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've got Lauren Nicole in the comments asked if any of us have had to deal with something like this, and I feel like every YA author does at some point to some extent. Like it's always like, so does yours have sparkly vampires? Am I gonna hate yours? Or you say like, oh, I write books. Oh, I
had a guy, when he learned that I was somebody who wrote YA, told me that writing YA is like, what do you say, street fighting with boxing gloves on. Because,
I'm sorry, what?
It's fighting with boxing gloves on, because you're like cushioning the punches, I guess, is what he was talking about.
He's a master of the metaphor.
So clear.
Maybe he can teach us how to write real books.
Yeah.
So, and then he just proceeded to tell me that, it was all crap, basically, and that he'd only ever read 1 Harry Potter or something. I can't remember. He hadn't read YA extensively, of course.
Yeah. I've gotten asked before, have you ever considered writing real books?
Just
like, no.
I thought about it, but imaginary books is where I'm at.
Yeah,
so.
I much prefer to make one.
I've encountered from another writer the attitude of, but you're an adult, you should like write grown up stuff. Like your writing should be more grown up.
That is so puzzling to me because do they think people that write picture books are toddlers?
Yeah. Well, I think it's also this like attitude of those 12-year-olds should be writing or should be reading really like it's okay to write stuff for that age group, but it needs to be really literary, and that's what they should be reading. They should only be reading things like The Catcher in the Rye. It's like, no.
I would not be a reader today if I was only allowed to read The Catcher in the Rye.
Yeah. No.
People who think that you shouldn't write children's books to appeal to children.
Yeah. Well, I just don't understand, because I've heard that before where they're like, but you're not a young adult. You're not a teenager. Why are you writing books for teenagers? I'm like, do you think it's all 13-year-olds that are writing, like, Hunger Games? And, like, do you think it's like, some of them are. Some of them are, like, 18 and just got published, but that's unusual. Do they actually think it's all teens writing and publishing these books? And, like, same with picture books. Do they think it's toddlers writing these picture books? And what? Like, this is really baffling to me. I'm so confused.
Yeah.
Of the
this
logic
actually
of this.
kind of ties into a question we have in the comments from Caitlin. Not exactly news related, but any tips for getting your name out there early? I'm 16 and I definitely want to publish in the future, but I don't feel like I have time to dedicate to marketing and publishing at this time. Everybody says to start a website and blog as early as possible. So if I do start a blog now, any tips on what I should blog about since I have no publishing accomplishments?
I think you're in the right place, definitely, because thinking about this ahead of time and thinking about you want to be published down the road is a very smart thing, because right now your work is still in development. You're still developing your voice, most likely. So yeah, starting a blog or going on Wattpad or writing fiction online for fun and to gain followers is a great idea, I think.
It's a great idea, but also don't put too much pressure on it, because no one's going to be all like, we're not going to publish your book because you weren't blogging at 16.
Exactly, yeah.
I think the funny stuff we were talking about earlier, where you're saying negative things and getting yourself out there like that, is going to hurt you more than this kind of stuff could help you by building it now. Like, do it if you like it, but don't force it.
Yeah, definitely. Do it for fun and to share your writing if you want to, or share your blog posts to connect with other writers and to learn more about writing.
Yeah, it's a great way to improve your writing over time. It's just get involved in the community.
Yeah. And if you do start amassing fans, then that's great. But it's no sweat.
Yeah. When I first started blogging, because I did blogging for about a year before we started the WordNerds, and no one super read. I mean, my blog still isn't super widely read. It gets maybe like 20 views with every new post.
I read your blog.
Thanks. But a lot of it is I like write it down for me too. It's like, oh, look, now I can look back and see like I had no clue what I was doing here, and this is how I felt about it, and like, oh look, here's where I started querying and how excited I was, and it's just really nice to like have those things down there too. Like if you want to keep it, like don't just stress about keeping something like that so that other people will start to see it and want to read your future work.
Yeah,
you're already ahead of the game because you're thinking about it right now.
Yeah, for sure. And like that sounds like a cheesy answer, but it's totally true.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and you can test around too and find which medium you like best. Like I like blogging, but ultimately YouTube is my all-time favorite, and I could just be on YouTube all day long making videos. And so that's what I spend all my time on.
Even if YouTube had been around like this when I was in high school, I never would have thought of it. So taking that time to kind of just explore different things can be really valuable. But like high school me never would have thought I would enjoy live chatting ever.
Yeah, it's true. It takes a while to figure out what it is you really love doing and what it is you really don't, and that's totally fine. It took me a while to figure out I'm probably never gonna like be really active on Tumblr, and that's fine.
I keep my Tumblr for me. I read a lot of funny stuff.
That's writing advice you'll see given even to like adult authors of like social media is great, but it's better to do one or two things really well than to try to stretch yourself really thin and try to balance all of these ones that you don't understand. Like someone made me get Snapchat this weekend, and I do not get it. I do not like it. Nope. But a friend is sending me pictures of my last foster dog, so it will stick around for a little bit. But trying to build a platform on Snapchat, even though I know that's a thing that's happening now, isn't something that makes sense for me. So trying to force it is taking time away from vlogging or Twitter, which I love.
Yeah.
You don't need to do them all.
I only send really hideous faces on Snapchat, and I don't want any of you guys seeing those. I like that they're gone after 7 seconds.
I just don't understand Snapchat, and I never will. I'm the same as Kelly. We maybe missed that generational gap, but I'm just trying. Forget it. I don't understand.
So old. Wow. No, my sister.
Hey, I'm going to be turning 29 in like 4 days? What day is it today?
I think it's just the 6th, so less than
2 days. 2 days, I'm going to be turning 29. I am old. I don't get Snapchat.
My 21-year-old sister was like, you have to get a Snapchat. This is how it works. And now I will send you ugly face pictures.
I can just do that without Snapchat. Perfectly capable.
See, I don't trust people not to keep those ones.
Oh, I guess
I know
so.
my sister won't keep them.
But I also don't feel like my life was missing something before I could send people face pictures. Like, there wasn't a void I needed filled.
Well, you're obviously not living your life right.
Can't people just screenshot it if they want to keep your ugly photo?
They can.
Yeah.
That's why I only Snapchat people who don't screenshot. Well, she'll screenshot pictures of my dog sometimes, but I would
That's
screenshot
understandable.
of my dog too. He's cute.
That's okay.
He's got the perfect ears.
He does. Perfect ears for photographs. They're like as long as his legs.
So cute.
Aww.
Go refresh the comments again.
Just
I know there was like a bunch of stuff online about like declining ebook sales and stuff. That's not nearly as exciting as people say.
And I feel like on that kind of publishing news, I never actually know what to believe. Like,
No, but it's on Publishers Marketplace. That apparently Nook, and actually Nook has shut down the UK version of Nook, so that's probably a pretty good inclination that that's correct. I don't know what it means, but and Amazon keeps now opening physical stores, which I'm like, that's the height of irony.
Yeah, come full circle.
Yeah, was this your plan all along? Shut down all the physical stores and then open your own.
We've got 2 questions that are kind of related in the comments. So the first part from Gildarts Winters, what is Wattpad / how does it compare to Fiction Press? And then from Lauren Nicole, do you think writing on Wattpad is a good way to get noticed / find a publisher / get used to people reading your work?
To the last one, yes to 1, no to 2, yes to 3. I wouldn't go on Wattpad with the intention of being published, because I mean that happens sometimes, but it's super, super rare. And then I also have friends whose agents have said, you know, even recently, no, we're not going to query this because it was already up on Wattpad. So it completely depends on the agents and the publisher and like the situation, and it's just incredibly rare for someone to find something on Wattpad and publish it. Those are just like the crazy success stories, like 16-year-olds getting published. It does happen, but it's not often. So go on Wattpad for, like you said, to learn how to show people your work, to network, to gain writer friends, to get better at writing. Yeah, just for enjoyment. And for the person that asks what Wattpad is, it's basically a reading/writing website. You can put your work up on it, or you can search through millions of different stories and find something you want to read. And I don't know Fiction Press, so I can't really compare.
It's a ton like Fiction Press, but I think the Wattpad audience is maybe slightly younger in general than the Fiction Press audience.
A lot of teens on Wattpad. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I know that I've been on other writing websites, and it was mostly a lot of writers on those websites being like, read mine and I'll read yours, whereas Wattpad is mainly readers.
Yeah, and they're all really nice. Well, but like everyone is super nice on Wattpad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I haven't had any problems with like trolls like I have like briefly on other sites. That's why I usually just stick to Wattpad.
I know my supervisor's teenage daughters really like to read books on Wattpad, and they don't really I don't think they really read much outside of that, but they really like to read stuff on Wattpad. So I think they really like One Direction stories on Wattpad, which is not what
There's a lot of those. There's
yeah.
a lot of fanfics on Wattpad, werewolves, vampires, like that type of stuff. But then there's also a lot of really great original fiction. You just have to go looking for it. So it's like a big mix smash of everything, which is great. It's 8:30. Yeah! Announcement time.
I just got like butterflies in my stomach when you said
Yeah,
that.
me too. My palms are sweating, guys. I'm glad you're not here.
It's okay. We wouldn't have to hold hands anyways.
Oh, we would. We would hold my hand, Eric.
Okay, fine. All right. Who's announcing this?
I hosted it. Someone else's turn.
Megan, I volunteer.
Okay, do it. So, the WordNerds have had a lot of exciting things going on, and the further we get in our publishing careers, the more busy things get. Kaylin's having her baby soon, so she's going to be around a lot less, as she will be raising the future of humanity. And so we are looking to bring in a 7th word nerd.
So exciting.
So there's going to be an audition process. We will have a video up tomorrow morning detailing exactly how to do that. But hopefully you guys are interested. We're really, really excited about this and excited about having another word nerd on the team.
Yes.
And
At first we were all very like, change. I don't know how we feel about it, but by the end of the discussion, we were all just genuinely psyched for this because it's
Yeah.
really
Really
a lot of fun.
excited. Yes. We're very excited to see all your guys' audition videos and see your beautiful faces.
yeah. So the video tomorrow, we'll talk about it more, but for prepping in your mind right now, if this is something that you're at all interested in, like if you've ever considered vlogging about writing, you should totally try out. But it'll be a 2 to 4 minute video themed around how do you word nerd, and there will be a second round where we do a Google Hangout together for some of our faves from the video auditions. Since live chats are such a huge part of the word nerds, we want to make sure we get along in person too. But we're really, really, really excited.
Yes.
Spread the news.
Spread
People
the
you
news.
know who write, because we'd like to have a big pool of people so we can get the best person possible.
Yeah.
So that we can keep having really quality content for you guys.
And this is also a really great opportunity for people to meet other writers who are also interested in YouTube. The word nerds all met by trying out for a different YouTube channel that we did not make it into. And so we started our own group, and now we're besties.
And it was the best failure I ever failed.
Oh my gosh, it was. It really was.
Didn't make it in, and this is the result. So couldn't be happier. So yeah, if we get a lot of videos and have to make a really hard choice, and then there's people that don't get in, start your own group. That's exactly what the Word Nerds did. So
yeah,
something awesome came of that.
Yeah,
but we're very excited to see tryout videos.
Yeah.
So excited.
And it'll be just a great way to get to know more people in the writing community. So
it's gonna be good.
Yeah. So keep an eye out. Very early tomorrow morning Eastern Standard Time. Honestly, probably at like 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when I finish the video. The video will go live. I've got a little banner thing made too that I'll tweet out. So if you guys want to share that with people, that'd be awesome. We just really want to get the word out. Get as many writers on YouTube as possible.
Woot.
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 All the woots.
Yes.
Now
Awesome.
it's like the awkward silence of, are people liking this announcement?
Oh, is everyone like, that's what we've waited an hour for?
Yeah. Why are we even here?
It's amazing. You can be a word nerd. It's a good thing. And check for questions in the comments or anything. I can't make it to the comments for some reason. Explorer hates me.
We've got some people excited. If you've never vlogged before, don't be nervous. There's going to be a ton of people who've never vlogged before. So just go for it.
I don't think I certainly hadn't vlogged before I tried out for the other channels. No. It was my first time.
We'll have to sources in the video tomorrow too. Yeah. Like how to vlog if you never have.
Yeah. I had to really hastily look up how to do jump cuts. I don't know how to do any of this.
I watched my audition for the Rebels a couple days ago. I talked so slowly. I was like, hello, my name is Megan Jashinsky.
I try not to rewatch mine. I know it's pretty bad.
No, it was good.
I want to see it.
I liked it. You had a knife. It was awesome.
I don't know what I was thinking, honestly. They're probably like, let's not get this girl. She's really terrifying. We're not sure about her mental stability.
For some reason, we let you in and stayed in the house with you, so.
What's wrong with you guys? Kelly and I were in the same room.
Like Kelly shared a room.
My life was in your hands.
Yeah.
I only get.
I barricaded me and Emma.
We were.
Yeah, you couldn't get into our room.
I am for those of you who didn't hear this, I'm the most paranoid nighttime sleeper. So at YALLFest, I shove the dresser in front of my door every night.
Because it didn't have a lock, right?
Yeah, it didn't have a lock, and I can sleep a little heavy, and I don't want to wake up with someone brandishing a knife over me.
I would never do that. Only on Tuesdays, okay?
The complete story of what Megan did is her door didn't lock. Plus, there was a door that connected our two rooms. Our rooms were next to each other, and there was a door that connected them. So she shoved her dresser and her suitcase in front of her door. I had to shut and lock my door, and then we left the door in between open so that if we heard something, she could run into my room, we could shut it, it locked on my side.
You had
and then we were ready to go.
Spray. That was my pepper spray right next to the bed.
And what was it with Erica's door? It either, did it keep opening or it wouldn't open? Something. Maybe it got stuck.
So she had to come into our night, didn't it? She was trying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. And she also had the child lock thing on it. Yeah. To our shared balcony thing, plus the door to our bedroom.
Now I'm realizing we totally should have filmed more things.
Yeah. It was hard.
Total fiasco.
Short trip.
Yeah.
Next time we gotta do it's gotta be
things would just spontaneously happen, and you didn't have time to film it.
Why didn't we film the whole time we were there?
What were we thinking?
See, you guys, if you become a YA word nerd, this is the type of insanity you can look forward to. I promise not to stab anyone.
Please try out. Erin will keep her knives at home.
I will. But
Erin usually has to fly to any meetup, so she can't bring knives with her, so it works out.
It's true. They won't let me across the border. I don't know. I did. I had the flight from hell to get to YALLFest.
Yeah.
Great.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. Worth it. It's okay.
Yes.
I'd do it again.
Me too.
We will do it again.
We will.
This year.
Next year? Next year? Next year? This year? This year?
There's still a lot of this year left to plan, so.
Yeah, for real. It's only March.
I say we all go to Harry Potter World. What?
I just did that. I can't afford to do that again. You just did that.
I know. That's why I wanted to do it again. I finished my chocolate frog and I need another one. And also.
Oh my
I don't know. I feel like if anything, YALLFest taught me that we shouldn't do anything too busy because it just becomes we want to spend all this time doing ridiculous things and then we do exhausting things as well.
Yeah.
It becomes a bit much.
So we do the fun conference things and then we're up till 3 a.m. filming. It's what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Well, next time we know that we will just stay longer. If there had been a day, a couple days before
one more day or something.
Yeah, a couple afterwards, it wouldn't have been such an insane rush.
Yeah.
Because it was I remember I had to get up at 4:45 a.m. in the morning to get my flight or whatever, but I'm I can't go to bed. I must talk more with the WordNerds. It's terrible.
See. I was very fortunate in the location.
Yes,
So
true.
I could just drive there.
I totally support a Harry Potter World one because I don't have to go anywhere. But I would totally leave my apartment and go stay with you guys in like a hotel or a house or something, of course, and I'd help pay for it. Yeah.
Is there like a wizarding hotel? Because that's
That would
where
be
we
way
went.
cool,
Is
but
there?
Not in Orlando, at least.
Why
But
not?
vacation,
Why?
like vacation rental houses are a lot cheaper than they are in Charleston. So that
But
was
having a house was nice. I'm so glad
it
we
was
did
really
that.
nice. And that house,
I
Oh,
know.
beautiful.
that house has a place in my heart now.
It was nice. Well,
Anyway,
Now that we've gotten
Very
very off topic.
we're just getting a little
nerd.
preview of the word nerds. What they
This is what
can
the post chats are like.
pretty much getting a secret glimpse of our post chats.
Yeah. I will refresh the comments one more time. Thank you so much to everyone who's showing excitement in the comments. It is a great relief that there aren't crickets down there. There was like that part of me that was like, what if no one cares? What if no one auditions? So it's nice to see that some people are excited.
If no one auditions, we're deleting this live chat and the announcement video. Like, it never happened. All the tweets about it.
Awesome.
We've got a quick question about collaborating on projects and if we are pro collaboration, basically.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Never really done it though, so no comments. It's just something I'd really like to do in the future.
I'm doing it this summer with Kyra.
Yay.
Mega writer. Mega writer.
I definitely would love to collaborate at some point. I originally actually, with a buddy on Wattpad, started doing it, and we were alternating every other chapter from the point of view of a girl and a guy, and it was really, really fun, and then we just both got so busy, it sort of fell by the wayside, but I would love to do that again at some point.
Yes.
Definitely fun, but you have to be really, you kind of have to really trust the other person and be good buddies with the other person, because it's a lot of work together.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Okay.
We're calling it.
I think we're calling it. It's been an hour.
Well, thank you all so
right.
much for hanging out with us tonight and talking about publishing industry news and sharing our big, exciting announcement joy with us. We're so excited to see what comes from that because we're sure it's going to be lots of big, exciting things. So thank you again. We will see you all for our regular videos this week, including the one with more details about the audition process, and next Sunday for something. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.